Hi, this is Mr. Sato. We're talking about literary value. In a previous video, I spoke about the COLV, a simple flowchart that organizes what I think are the main aspects of literary value. It looks like this. In that video, I talked about content. In this one, I'll talk about form. If content is what the writer says, form is how the writer says it. Form consists primarily of the language used by the writer. Word choice is a very broad term that describes the author's ability to use words and phrases that are precise, interesting, and natural sounding, or deliberately artificial if that's what the writer was trying to achieve. Good word choice doesn't necessarily mean using long, elegant words. Maybe the author wants to portray a character who's not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm thinking of Parsons in 1984. George Orwell describing that ridiculous character with simple, blunt words like drudge and stupid is making excellent word choices for revealing that character. Word choice includes such techniques as metaphor and simile, tone, alliteration, and all sorts of other poetic devices. When, in Ode to a Nightingale, John Keats alludes to images from ancient Greek mythology like Lethe and Dryads and the Hippocrene, he's choosing words that connect the depression he's experiencing to a more eternal form of sadness, something that has ailed the entire history of mortal human beings, not just him, an individual sad Englishman in 1819. Or in the movie The Godfather, the line, "Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes," uses much more effective word choice than "we killed Luca Brasi." People remember and quote that line. That's a mark of good word choice. Sentence structure describes the quality of writing that can be clumsy or artfully crafted, simple or complex. Good sentences are clear, grammatical, rhythmically lively, and have an intentional flow and rhythm. Listen to the following sentence in which the author Rick Bass describes Coulter, his hunting dog. Coulter scented it immediately and swung high-headed toward it like a horse being turned by sharp reins, knifing quickly, confidently through the tall, dry grass before crouching and freezing suddenly at the precise last place where he could travel without flushing the bird, which, in this case, was right on top of the bird. That's energetic, clear, and possesses interestingly complex sentence structure. Lively word choices, too. Another aspect of form is voice, the characteristic that measures the unique personality of the writer that comes through their words. A high degree of emotional intensity is almost always present where the voice is strong. In the hunting dog example, Rick Bass clearly seems interested and excited in his own story, so we, the readers, become interested too. We get a sense of the writer's personality rather than hearing about the dog in a flat, generic voice. This, by the way, is something AI doesn't do well. The organization of the literary work refers to the structure of the piece. In general, and there are exceptions, literature with effective organization has an inviting beginning, a satisfying ending, and a logical, purposeful middle, the section in which the ideas and themes are developed and explored. Things aren't thrown in haphazardly. They're placed in a sequence that makes the literary work create an intended effect. Ann Tyler, in Dinner at the Homesick Restaurant, tells the story of a Baltimore family from the individual perspectives of its members, the mother Pearl, the brothers Ezra and Cody, and the sister Jenny. The way this novel is organized, each chapter is told from a different perspective and a different time frame, and we see the intertwining family relationships from every angle, how they hurt each other, and how the characters' intentions and perceptions differ, to ultimately give a full portrait of the family. That's an example of effective organization. Physical form is often not considered when evaluating a work's literary value. However, a poet's spacing of the words or letters in a poem, the typography in some rare cases, the layout, format, the physical book itself, are all things that can add or detract from the overall literary experience. These 8 characteristics composing content, what it says, and form, how it says it, work together to create an experience that makes the reader think and feel things. In the next video, the third of 3, we'll put content and form together and see how they affect the overall value of a work of literature. That's where we pull everything together, so don't miss that one.